Hello and welcome back to GP Video Podcast by Nadia. So today we will go back to the topic of ADHD, which is Attention Deficit Hyperactivity Disorder. I've got a very beautiful fact sheet here with the common questions that we all have in our minds about any condition, any medical condition that we know about, and very beautifully these answers are written. So I'm going to read them out for you because we know that different health services like New South Wales Health, Victoria Health, Queensland Health do have a lot of fact sheets about different diseases, but we don't usually get time to go and read them. So me, through these video podcasts, I would actually like to read these fact sheets with you guys and then see how simply or how the knowledge is simplified in simple words and being given to all of us. Okay, so number one question on the fact sheet is, what is ADHD? Though I have told you the definition lots of times, but we'll go through this again. So ADHD is a condition characterized by the symptoms of inattention, non-attention, hyperactivity, and impulsivity. So there are two basic components. Number one is lack of attention, and number two is being hyperactive and impulsive. Okay. While these symptoms are normal characteristics experienced by all people at some stage in their lives at one time or another, among individuals who are diagnosed with ADHD, there is an overabundance of these characteristics. So we all are hyper at some stage. We all are we all lack attention at some stage when we are tired, when we are fatigued. But people who have ADHD, they have a lot of it. Like they have a lot of lack of concentration or almost all the time. And then they are hyperactive all the time, almost all the time. Their levels of overactivity, inattention are severe and persistent and typically result in performance issues in social, educational, personal, or work settings. So as I said, that this impulsivity, which is being very impulsive, being very hyperactive, and being very inattentive, they can affect their day-to-day life in all the aspects. While many children and adolescents with ADHD improve as they grow up. So remember, I was telling you this before, that this is basically a condition of 12 years old, older and under. And if these symptoms are not diagnosed, or if they are mild and they are not diagnosed in the childhood, then being an adult, they do persist. But according to this fact sheet, it says that many children and adolescents with ADHD improve as they grow up. Many of them will improve as they grow up, either with or without treatment, I believe. Many will continue to experience symptoms as an adult. So ones who were medicated, of course, they will become better. Ones who were not medicated, they also might become better, but most of them, I believe, will continue to experience symptoms as an adult as well. Because this disease, yes, it can be mild, moderate, and severe. And of course, people who have severe ADHD suffer the most and should be medicated, and they wouldn't get better. But overall, ADHD is a condition which you cannot get rid of. Even the drugs or the medications or the psychotherapy and all that kind of treatment that we have, both pharmacological and non-pharmacological, they will only help relieve the symptoms and not cure the disease. In adulthood, the symptoms are typically displayed somewhat differently to the way they are displayed in childhood. A child who squirms, fidgets, and is constantly on the go may become an adult who is less obviously physically overactive but experiences intense feelings of restlessness. So of course, an adult wouldn't behave as a child. He would not be screaming and shouting and fidgeting and throwing tantrums and all. But he would be very impulsive. He would be very angry, would be reacting very quickly, and would be restless all the time. They may have trouble relaxing and may overwork. An impulsive child who blurts out answers in class, who constantly interrupts others and talks excessively, they all could be the signs of ADHD. I was one of those. So an impulsive child who blurts out answers in classes, I wanted to answer all the questions in the class, constantly interrupting teachers, and talks excessively, may become an adult who displays impatience when in queues. So when in queues, when you are standing in a queue, when adults have to stand in queue, they may be very impulsive, very impatient, or whilst driving, want to rash drive and want to just surpass all the drivers. And who may be impulsive with spending or quitting jobs. Impulsive with spending, I have one of those features, or with quitting jobs, like changing jobs because they just don't like one job to the other, to the other, to the other. Inattentive children who have difficulty listening and forget their homework may become adults who often complain of losing things, such as keys and wallets, and are often late for appointments. So just see that how the characteristics that were in childhood are transformed into the characteristics of adults. They are still there, they don't go away, but they just change the shape and form. The main symptoms displayed by children with ADHD vary according to age, but generally about one half will predominantly have inattention problems. A quarter will mainly have hyperactive and impulsive symptoms, while the remainder will have a mixture of these symptoms. So this is very interesting because here we get 3 subtypes of ADHD. Number 1 subtype, in which inattention or non-focus is major issue. The one half is that. Then another one is the one which are mainly hyperactive and impulsive, while the remainder are both. So equally inattentive and equally hyperactive. So number 1 is the one who mostly have the inattention issues. They can also be hyperactive, but inattention is their main issue, not hyperactivity. Number 2, and they are the most common ones. Inattention kids are the most common ones. They are the half of the ADHD patients. Then a quarter will be those whose main symptom is hyperactivity and impulsivity, though they will also have inattention, but to a lesser extent. Hyperactivity and impulsivity would be their main problem, and the remainder will be both of them. So both equally hyperactive and equally inattentive. So there are 3 kinds of ADHD. It is common for children with ADHD to have co-occurring psychiatric conditions. As I have said before, that it is ADHD is the most common neurodevelopmental disorder, but these children can also have co-occurring psychiatric conditions, the most common of which are disruptive behavior disorders, oppositional defiant disorder, or ODD. So this is another disorder. This is not a part of ADHD. This is another disorder. So as I said, it is common for children with ADHD to have co-occurring psychiatric conditions, the most common of which are disruptive behavior disorders such as oppositional defiant disorder or ODD, which involves a pattern of arguing with multiple adults, losing one's temper, refusing to follow rules, blaming others, deliberately annoying others, and being angry, resentful, spiteful, and vindictive. And conduct disorder or CD. So number 1 was oppositional defiant disorder, whose features I just read for you: losing temper, arguing with multiple adults, refusing to follow rules, blaming others, deliberately annoying others, and being angry, resentful, spiteful, and vindictive. While the other one is conduct disorder or CD, which is associated with efforts to break rules without getting caught, and may include being aggressive to people or, unfortunately, animals, destroying property, lying or stealing, running away, and skipping school. And then comes the mood disorders: depression, mania, bipolar disorder, and anxiety. I know all these features sound very, very overlapping, but they are different. They could be there a bit in the ADHD itself, but ADHD can actually they are not the main aspects of ADHD. So they are the main aspects of these behavior disorders that I just named: ODD, CD, and then we have mood disorders as well coexisting with ADHD. We'll come back to all of this tomorrow.